resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm yours, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
How are you, buckaroo?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. You know, we had such a great time yesterday over at Showcase Comic-Con out at the Harbor Center in Slidell. And first off, just a big thanks to all the staff and volunteers out there. We had such a great time.
Is that where we were?
That's where we were, having a lot of fun, hanging out with some guests like Angel Medina and Tim Lottie and Robbie Musso.
I had never been there before. It reminded me a lot like the Pontchartrain Center out in Kennebra.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was a great little venue. I mean, it was easy to get to.
Yep.
Like your first exit right when you hit Slidell. So that is a high a mark for me if it's close.
Right. No. And it was we hung out there all day. We got to MC and do all that good stuff. And just thanks to the staff and volunteers out there, to Tim Stoddard for bringing us along and hanging out. So
yeah, dude. And Robbie Musso, man, I got to give him big props. He hooked me up with a Starscream sketch. I've been busting his balls for I guess like 2 years about making a Starscream print. So he hasn't gotten around to it, but he gave me a hand drawn copy. So thank you, Robbie.
And Lottie was recently at the 30-year anniversary of Ghostbusters out in L.A. and I was really trying to put the thumb screws on him to give me some details, maybe about the new movie or whatever. And he totally didn't break under pressure. It was great.
Dang, but you need to work on your strong arm tactics, sir.
I'm trying. All right, you ready to lay out the show?
Sure. All right, we'll open up with top nerd news as we usually do. And amazingly enough, Skungy is back with his pick of the week.
Right. And then so for our guest spot, I had to shift some bookings around, and we still had some audio left from my trip to Momocon recently in Atlanta, and so we're going to air that tonight. That's Carolina Ravassa. She is the voice of Sombra in Overwatch, so we're going to hear that press junket. Yes.
Nice.
And then we'll close it all out as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. You know, the other thing, Robbie Musso, the Showcase Comics comic that they had.
Yeah.
All the Decepticons on that back page, where can people get that? I know they can get on his Facebook page,
So, comic shops can go out and get their own production run of a particular released comic, right? They just go to the manufacturer and say, hey, we want to do a special run, and here's the artwork from our artist, and they'll put, like, the comic shop logo and everything.
Yeah, right.
And so that's what they did. They got Robbie Musso to produce a cover, and then on the back it has Showcase Comics and collectibles and all that. So you need to go to Showcase Comics in Slidell to get that special edition comic book. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, sorry.
No, but
it was just so awesome looking. Like I remember seeing him put that on Facebook going, I need a print of that goddamn thing. And then sure enough, he gives us a comic.
Yeah,
so.
Robbie was super cool and gave us a copy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so what's topping us off, Mr. Held?
So as most weeks go by, the internet has lost its collective mind.
Shut the front door.
Yes, with the announcement that the Disney live-action Little Mermaid has cast Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry.
When I first saw that, it said Halle Berry tweets to Halle Bailey.
Right.
And I'm just like, wait, they cast Halle Berry?
Right.
And I was really confused for a second.
So cast Halle Bailey as Ariel in the new live-action Little Mermaid. Now...
She is a woman of color, correct?
She is a African-American woman, yes.
But she sings.
She does. She's in some R&B act with, what is it? I don't watch Disney.
I don't either.
So regardless, Chloe and Halle is the deal that she's a member of for Disney World or whatever.
Yeah, like somebody was saying like they used to do YouTube videos back in the day, and that's how they got hooked up with Disney.
Oh, yeah. So... The thing is everybody. So you've got two camps. People are very excited, right? Or they're like, not my Ariel.
Hashtag not my Ariel all over Twitter. Yeah.
So I'm going to take a new stance.
Oh, my God.
All right. My new stance is unless they release a movie that is all Danish actors that portray the exact original Hans Christian Andersen tale of the Little Mermaid from like 1852 or whatever year it was.
What? He wrote about a singing crab and an octopus lady?
No. Like,
no? Okay.
It's much darker, like Grimm's fairy tales. I mean, come on. That was like all those fairy tales were evil and all the children died, right?
I had no idea he wrote something like that for like Little Mermaid, though.
Stop for a second, Dave.
Okay, I'm so confused.
Don't you realize that all of the properties that Disney have were stolen from fairy tales?
No.
They were
I deny your reality, sir.
They were, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stolen?
Not stolen.
Reimagined? Rebooted?
When the copyright has been expired, it's...
Reboots?
It's not. Jesus. Public domain is the words I'm looking for.
Go.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So... These public domain properties, Disney's scooping them all up. Pinocchio, Sleeping Beauty, all on and on and on.
Okay,
and are making jabidillions of dollars, whatever. And so, I mean, that's the thing is, people are like, well, it's not Ariel from the '89 animated version, and it's like, of course it's not. And if you want the actual original, you need to go back there.
It does bring up an interesting question, though. Somebody actually used their brain and asked the question, what's going to happen to the meet and greets at Disney? What's going to happen to the Little Mermaid ride in Disney? Because they already have the cartoon version in there saying what, you've got her in there. You've got the entire ride that's going on. And so are they going to redo the ride? I mean, that's not unheard of for them to do stuff like that. But are they going to have two separate versions of the cartoon version and then the real life version?
I don't know. And does it really even matter?
It does.
Why?
Well, it will, because a new generation of little girls are going to grow up with that Ariel.
So?
Well, so then when they go to the park, they're going to want to see that Ariel.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm just positing the question.
No, and that's fine.
It does raise a very interesting point, because that's what a lot of people are always arguing about in the Hollywood spectrum everywhere, that they're not seeing their own representation out there. And while it's a very valid claim,
right?
You've got a theme park that has built its fortune on anti-Semitism and, cartoons, okay?
Jesus, David.
What? It's like I'm lying here.
All right.
But, so what are they going to do? I mean, they're going to keep one ride. Are they going to build another ride, with the new Ariel? Are they going to do, like, special stage shows? I mean, I think there's a way for them to happily coexist. But, I mean, are we going to have, like, a schism, a princess war, I mean, when you're a jet. They could be fighting, and it'd be great.
Dave, do you know what you've done again, Dave?
What?
You've put an idea out there that could make millions, right? And you've given it to the world.
What?
Right?
A princess fights?
Yeah, you could have wrote this narrative. It could be a novel series. Yeah. No, but okay. So yes, all excellent questions. But honestly, the thing is that I don't necessarily care so much about the casting, because think about stage plays throughout time,
right?
You get new actors in and you bring them into these roles. What Denzel Washington was in that reboot, essentially, of the Shakespeare, as Much Ado About Nothing, right? Like,
I don't know. That's a little brainy for me.
Well, it's the same one that
King Kong ain't got bleep on me.
That's the same one that had the Oscar-winning performance of Keanu Reeves.
Wow.
In Shakespeare. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't Oscar-worthy. Anyway, so
Keanu can do anything right now. Keanu rules the world, man. Bill and Ted 3 is coming out, and the world will stop.
Right? No, agreed.
Most triumphantly.
But
stop.
My point is that it does the race of the actor doesn't really matter, right?
Agreed.
It's the performance that they give in the role, and especially when we're talking about mermaids that are fictional creatures. Unless we find Atlantis and there's mermaids there.
Well, you got that freeform station that's got it's like, I forgot what it's called. Sirens is what it's called, and it's about a mermaid who comes on land and is trying to learn the way of you backward bipeds.
Nice.
So I don't know.
Honestly, the best part about this whole thing is the fact that Terry Crews has thrown his hat in the ring.
There you go.
Posited that he should be Poseidon.
You mean
in this
Neptune?
Role. No, it's Poseidon.
Neptune.
No.
It's Poseidon. I'm just screwing with you. I don't really care. Roman, Greek, whatever.
Oh, stop. It makes
Pick a trident. like a trident, Brian.
You are a student of
conch.
history, and you're just blatantly throwing it to the wind, Dave. I'm horrified.
As well, you
regardless,
should be,
I want to look. If I want Terry Crews in this now, I will watch anything with Terry Crews in it.
and they would have to have the obligatory peck, pops. I mean,
people were saying that they're like, we want to see Terry Crews beat up Ursula with his pecs.
That would be epic. But I mean, all right. Well, this rolls into the other top nerd news story though, where we've got the live action Mulan. The trailer dropped today while I was watching the Women's World Soccer. By the way, America, the ladies won.
They did
2-0. 2-0.
Fourth time in a row that they've won the World Cup. I believe. I think.
It's back to back. They not in a row, but they won it back to back.
Okay.
So
go ladies.
Yes. No, they kicked some wholesale ass today. So, but where was I going with this? Oh, Mulan. So the trailer dropped during the halftime of the game today, and dude, it looks like almost like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It looks awesome. I mean, you feel immersed in like feudal. Is it China? Yeah, it's China.
China,
it's
yes.
Genghis Khan.
Yes.
So it looks the part. Now, apparently, though, there's no Mushu, so we might not have a dragon. There's rumors that it might be a phoenix, and then there's no singing. And Mulan's soundtrack sucked. If we're being honest here, Mulan's soundtrack sucked.
Dude, there's people going to be out there with pitchforks and torches.
Come on down, 929 Howard Avenue. I ain't afraid.
I'm
a music major, a jaded music major. The Mulan soundtrack sucked.
Dude, what? Be a Man?
I will fight anybody.
Dude, you don't like Be a Man? That's a great song.
Sexist.
Oh, all right, Dave. That's cool.
Whatever.
Regardless,
don't put your patriarchy on me, Brian.
They will have the music, but apparently it's going to be only the instrumental versions of these songs, and that it's not going to be a musical. The actors will not be singing. And it did look. I watched the trailer as well. It did look very serious. I kind of like what was presented. I'm excited.
I am too. I mean, I think this would be a movie where. All right, I have not seen Aladdin, but a lot of people are saying it's really pretty good.
Dude.
What? Is it good? Did you go see it?
I haven't seen it, but I checked the box office numbers. Over $900 million.
Apparently
Yes.
it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and I'm a bit of a Disney snob. I did not think I would like Beauty and the Beast, the remake, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch it now.
Well, people
Too
were
much, probably.
poo-pooing the Aladdin like it was terrible.
Yeah, and I just haven't gotten around to see it. Look, Stranger Things dropped on the 4th of July. I binged it all. I got to watch it all, but I haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet.
Okay, I watched the first episode of Stranger Things 3. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Okay, cool. I liked the one episode I saw. Dude, Spider-Man Far From Home is absolutely incredible.
Oh, you got to see it?
Oh my goodness, yes. And I love it. I want to see it again in the theater. It's
Better
such
than Cats?
I'd see it again and again. Yes. It's really well done. I felt really good inside. There were some revelations in there that were really hard hitting, So if you have not seen it yet, go and see Spider-Man Far From Home. It is absolutely incredible. And you got absolutely stay for the credits all the way to the end.
Yeah, apparently.
We're 23 movies in and people are still leaving. I don't understand this.
It blows my mind, man.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
last one. I want to talk about The Walking Dead.
Yes.
The comic book will end this week at issue 193.
That is correct.
They're not going to 200. And look, I loved what he said in the article. And he brought up Game of Thrones, Robert Kirkman. He brought up Game of Thrones, where sometimes you get it so invested into a show like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, where you forget what time it is. You look up at the clock and it's like, oh man, I've been watching this for 45 minutes, but you're so engrossed in it. But then you look at the clock and it's like, oh crap, I only got 15 more minutes. Because I was doing that during the finale, oh man, what are they going to do? There's only 15 minutes left. What's going to happen? And you start getting a little antsy. Well, he just dropped the bomb that, hey, the series is going to end. And so it's just there's no buildup, no anticipation. I mean, it's almost kind of like, booyah, we're out, bitches. And I love it. I love the fact that there's no buildup. There's no sensationalism about it. There's no overtones of capitalism smacking of it either. Because they were probably not happy about it going, yeah, I'm done.
When I started to read The Walking Dead, I read the first 3 graphic novels, and I couldn't get back to it. It was just too rough. But they say of the author that he likes to take his characters, run them up a tree, and then set the tree on fire.
That's awesome.
Right? And I think that the ending like this is analogous to that, where he's just, once again, for the last time, kicking you right in the jimmy, and this is it.
He brings that up, though, because when Walking Dead and Game of Thrones were at their zenith was when you never knew if somebody might die. All the main characters were on the table of death,
right,
on Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. I mean, when they killed poor little Carl, that was because they realized that people weren't afraid of losing the main characters anymore. So they randomly killed off poor Carl's ass after he bought a house in Atlanta. But still, I'm not mad about that. I promise you.
All right.
But at its heyday, that's when it was its best, and they both started to kind of peter off at that. And look, I'm happy that he did this, because a lot of comic book companies like Marvel and DC would have been like, no, you're going to 200, you're going to make this happen because we're going to make a big build up and a send off, and he's just like, no, I'm done. And it's not like he's done. He was like, I just want to end the story because this would be the best way to end it.
Well, and
look, I'm proud of him, man.
Not only would I bet $1 that he's already got a roadmap after this for another project.
Absolutely.
But it segues a whole lot into a theme that ran throughout the weekend with the panels that I did at the Comic-Con.
Okay.
Talking about creator-owned comics. That's such a big deal. And if listeners out there don't understand what I'm talking about, if you go on Kickstarter and just start looking up comic books, there are so many wonderful comic artists who are doing independent projects and creating their own characters that you can back these things up. In fact, Derek Donovan is coming out with Trigger Mortis soon.
Right. And that cute little girl that came up and started talking our ear off about her anime characters that she was creating, and her mom and her sister looking at her like, wait, what you talking about? But she starts going on. It's just like, and both you and I were like, that's the way the world is going. So you know what? You do you. Make your own characters. If you don't see what's out there, make it. And she was just like, because that's the joy of children. They get it. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. It's like, booyah. When we get older, we kind of puss out on stuff.
Is Skungy hanging on the line?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, he got hung up on again.
Oh, did he? Because he asked if he was fired.
No, well, he's always fired. But, tell him to call back.
All right, that's cool. All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
It's not safe out here. It's wondrous, with treasures to satiate desires both subtle and gross. But it's not for the timid.
Hi, this is John Delancey, and you are listening to The Week in Geek.
that is the Week in Geek right here. This is D Squared along with
Brian Held.
So John Delancey, I dug him up out of the mothballs. We got him when he was at CoastCon, what, 2 years ago?
Like
3 years?
3 years
ago. 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I found my old little recorder that we used to use at like the first Comic-Con, and I brought it to Saints Camp. And I'm like, what is this on here? And it was John Delancey. I'm like, holy crap.
Nice.
So I made a rejoin. All right. It is that special time of the night, Brian.
Yes.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo!
Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Yeah, I'm back. Your vacation is over.
Yeah. So, well, look.
Wait, since when did anybody get on vacations on this show?
Well, Skungy got one, but that's because he got fired. So
y'all fired me, so you had a vacation from me.
Oh,
right. I see what he did there.
Cool. All right.
Well, shut up and talk to us about games.
Exactly.
Okay, so this week we're talking about the sinking city.
What the?
Okay.
Atlantis? Is it the mermaids again?
Not
is it Terry Crews?
No, it's a Cthulhu Mythos game.
Oh, yeah, dude. It was like on sale on XboxOne for a bit, too, man.
Yeah, so it just came out. Now, this is not, I wouldn't call this necessarily like a direct adaptation of Lovecraft's work, more of a based on his work and like kind of following some of the mythos and set in the universe of Lovecraft.
All right.
So the whole premise is you're in this city that a flood has hit this city. And it's that, off the coast of Massachusetts around the 1920s. And the city's been flooded. And since there was a flood, it's kind of changed the city. People start hearing things. Weird creatures have come from out of the sea. Typical Lovecraftian stuff.
Right.
And so what sets this one apart from most Cthulhu Mythos games that I've played in the last couple of years is the investigation part of it. Now, you're playing a PI, big surprise there. But you go to this town because you're having these visions too, and you're trying to figure out what goes on. Well, from right when you get there, people start asking you for help, and you have to go do investigations.
Okay.
This game does it a little bit differently, though. So games today, when you say you get a quest, and there's a map, and it's like, all right, you need to go here, and there's a big shining star on the map, and that's where you need to go look. Not in this game. You actually have to listen to what they say, figure out where the evidence is going to take you, look at the map, and figure out where they're talking about on the map. Like, it's in North Oakwood on the corner of Wood and Vine.
Okay.
So you have to actually physically try to find where they're talking about and use your deduction skills to try to figure out these clues.
All right.
So I find that a lot more engaging than some of these other games that we see where it's more like, pick up a piece of paper and you found the clue and you figured out everything because you pressed A when the dot shows you to.
You know what? This sounds a lot like the Secret World MMO that came out a few years ago at this point. It's really cool because you actually had to do research to play the game. You actually had to, in the game, since it was set in modern times, you had a smartphone that you could pull out in the game and actually get on the internet and go research stuff, right?
You didn't have to go to the library?
No, you would. It's, come on, right? And there was all kind of crazy stuff. Like you had to look up, because at one point you were in Egypt, and you had to look up an Arabic language translator from Arabic letters to English letters in order to translate puzzles. I mean, it was like super cool, all the things that you had to figure out. And you're right, Skungy, there was no click on this differently colored section of pixels that I know is a hidden door, right?
Right.
Exactly. Like you have this kind of vision. It's like a third world vision or whatnot that you can open up and it shows things in a different light, almost like a different dimension, and you can replay crime scenes that way to try to figure out. The best way I can describe it is detective vision from Batman Arkham series.
Okay.
Is the best way I can describe it. It's so you can see what happened in a scene before and then try to piece it together. So that is really, really cool. It's got great conversations where you're going to be learning the mythos and really compelling characters and stories. The problem is that you do a lot of backtracking.
Okay.
And sometimes it might be a little too obscure, where you're trying to figure out how to do one puzzle or whatnot, and it doesn't necessarily take logic into account, and you have to be very lucky to try to figure it out, or it's too tedious, where it kind of slows it down a little bit and doesn't move at a good pace. It's a minor problem with it, but I still like the way that it's going.
Okay.
They have like this thing called the Mind Palace, where when you find clues out, you put clues together and you make deductions depending on those clues. And depending on the deductions that you make, you can choose which way you want the story to go. For instance, you find out that somebody killed somebody. Well, were they were under the influence of the mythos or not? How are you going to take that? Are you going to turn them in, or are you going to let them go and try to help them? And it can change your story later on down the road.
So I guess that would increase the replayability, right? Because you can go back
a little bit. Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's got a great environment. The city looks really cool. It's very dark with the flooded sections of it. You have to actually get on a boat to go around some of the areas. It's a little tedious because of that backtracking, and the combat's very clunky. The combat is kind of like an afterthought, it seems like, almost.
What are you fighting?
Well, you're fighting like the mythos monsters, like these really weird looking, creepy, tentacle, many-armed things.
Wait.
I'm out.
Is it really a representation of the Cthulhu mythos? Because pretty much any monster you meet in Cthulhu, you're going to die, or insane, or whatever,
well,
or both.
You do have a sanity meter.
All right.
So it will affect your sanity in the game depending on what you fight. So you could
have dynamite?
Lose all your sanity, and it's really hard to get that back. You have to go, do rest. There's a lot of stuff you have to do to get your sanity back. So you got to be careful when you're fighting these things. Sometimes running away is the best option, and not just because of your sanity, but also because sometimes the combat is that clunky.
Jeez.
All right.
But the good thing about this game is that there's potential there. I think that they said that they want to keep going with this series, and I see a lot of good potential. It's a good starting point for it. It's by far one of the most enjoyable Mythos games that I've played in later years.
All right, well, cool. And did you say it was first person?
No, it's third person.
Third person, okay.
So what was the other Cthulhu game that I'm getting confused with?
Call of Cthulhu. That came out about 6 months ago.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, all right.
That's basically full on, right off of the page of that one.
Yeah.
All right. So Sinking City, it's PS4 and Xbox One. Any PC port?
There is some DLC for it. They will have a season pass where they'll have extra cases that you can go and do later on. They haven't even said when they're going to have that, but they will have some DLC. There are a couple of different versions. You can get just the game itself. It's $59.99, or if I'm correct, it's $80 for the Necronomicon edition, as they call it.
All right, cool. Is it on the Dirty PC?
That I did not see if it was, but I'm pretty sure it is. I think it is, actually.
All right.
Well, there you go.
Just making sure. All right. Anything else good going on, Skungy?
Oh, man, there's still hearing Backlash at E3. There's so many rumors flying around about the new systems, the new Scarlet, the new PlayStation 4 keeps dropping new hints and everything. There's a lot of buzz going on in the world. But as for games being released, we're kind of, once again, it's a little bit of that slow patch, but we're going to be doing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 next week.
Oh, nice. All right. And look, and I'm checking now. The Sinking City is available on Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch.
It's not out on the Switch yet. It's coming out on the Switch later on this year.
So you never trust the internet, Brian.
Well, everything on the internet is true.
Hey, Abraham Lincoln said that.
Exactly. All right, Skungy, thanks so much. Since you're well rested from your vacation, I don't think we should fire him right now.
No. Look, apparently he takes a vacation after we fire him, and so he learns some stuff. So we fire his ass again so that he can get back to learning stuff and come back and impress us.
All right.
Skungy, you're fired.
I get to impress you? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thanks, Skungy.
Later, guys.
All right, guys, stay tuned when we get back from these short commercial messages. This is going to be the press junket from Momocon with voice actress Carolina Ravassa, who does Sombra from Overwatch. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Let us start to fall.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Hey, you Ninja Turtle fans, this is Raphael. That's right, the OG Raphael. And the only show we listen to here in the sewer while eating our favorite pizza is The Week in Geek on WRNO Radio. Total power!
What made you take an interest in acting?
I was a hyperactive child at the age of 3, and I think my parents, as artistic beings, realized their 3 daughters were artistic as well, so we were always very involved in all sorts of fun, creative things, and I guess I turned 5, and I had been doing chorus stuff and singing and dancing on my own, and so when they were auditioning for a school musical, my mom's like, "Are you interested in this?" And I'm like, "I think so, yeah." So I did my first play at 5 years old at school, nothing professional, and I loved it, and so I just continued doing it through school, and then when it came time to audition for college, or apply to colleges, I realized, oh, I love acting. That's what I want to do, so it's just something that I realized when I was really young and enjoyed it, so that was it.
You were just talking about Overwatch. Do you when you do any of the characters that you do, how do you do that? How do you get the character? Do you ever dress like the costume?
No. We just do voice sessions, so we go in and record in a booth with a microphone. So, no, I did not dress as her because also I didn't know what she looked like when I first started. Well, they showed me an image, but it's all secretive, so it's not like I am prepared to dress like her for this. I think that because I had prepared stuff for the audition with the accent that Sombra has and with understanding her attitude and sass and sarcasm, I think that came innately to me because I can be sarcastic. So for me, she's very close to my heart, so it was easier to just do that voice, I guess. For other ones, it just depends, but I think that maybe I'll wear shoes that help me get into the character. I know Widowmaker used to wear heels in her recording session because, Widow is so sexy. So I think that, combat boots and stuff like that sometimes helps. I think that I just go for every different character differently.
I'm guessing working on the Sombra character, that was all solo work. You wasn't ensemble.
Most of all the characters for Overwatch we record separately. We do a lot of commands and stuff that is in-game and battle cries. So we do a lot of that alone. I know there were some short films that they've done for Overwatch. They get people in the booth together like Ash and McCree. But when I recorded my short, I recorded by myself. So it's a lonely process. That's why I think we have such a good time when we hang out with the voice actors because we don't get to hang out while we record. So. Yeah.
So you're talking about these events as hanging out, right? Like con stuff.
If we can in LA or if I'm in New York, I'll see the girls that are there. But yes, I think conventions is a really good place to meet up for lunch and dinner when we're not signing, because it's kind of our downtime. When we're in LA, we're usually auditioning for other things or recording, so it's busier than when we're in a different city that's not our home, and then we get to kind of relax a little bit. Yeah.
Overwatch has kind of grown a lot, not only just because it has such a diverse cast of playable characters that people can play, like, similar to themselves. So, essentially, what is it like working with such a diverse cast? Because I know even the voice actors, it's a wide range of people from all different areas.
I think that that's part of the beauty of Overwatch. A lot of the voice actors are very close to their characters in ethnicity or nationality or race. And so I think that because we feel these characters represent such a variety of people in the world, we feel very proud to be a part of this game. And I think that as actors who are very interested in diversity and the importance of it in the media, we also have connected and shared this common goal. And they're also just lovely human beings that I love to hang out with. And because they come from the backgrounds that their characters come from, I think that we're constantly learning from their cultures, and that's really special too. So I think that we've just been very lucky to be a part of this really cool game, and that we get to travel to cons together for it. So I get to know all these voice actors more and more every con, because it's just more time we spend together. It feels like summer camp. So it's been a really wonderful ride to be able to also not just meet everybody who plays the game and they love it so much, but the people we work with, for sure.
Do you feel like you add a little bit of your personality to the characters that you play?
Absolutely. I can't completely separate from Carolina because everything's coming from me. Sombra particularly is very close to my voice range, which is very low, and also just kind of how she responds to a lot of things. So I think there's a lot of me in Sombra for sure. I think there's always a little bit of me in every character, but depending on the character, you just kind of filter out some stuff or add a few other things. Yeah.
So the Overwatch League, obviously very successful, really great. Are you following the league? Do you have a favorite team?
We're not allowed to have favorites. We've gone to the Burbank Arena twice. I have. And it's been incredible to just be there and witness everyone sitting in the, in the stands and like going crazy over the game. It's such a fast game, and the screen, there's so much going on that I can't follow it. I say it's for the young people. So I love it, but I don't follow it avidly because I really don't understand how deep and fast it goes. But I'm really excited that it exists and that it's a thing, and these players are, they're incredible. So again, the fact that there is a pro Overwatch league, to me is just a crazy phenomenon.
So, do you play?
I played twice, and no. Well, I played on somebody's account, so I don't even have a screen name for that. I was terrible. I did it for fun. I played Sombra to try it out and have some laughs. I tanked horribly, no pun intended. I think a tank is easier to play than Sombra. So I don't know. I'll play again, but it's not something that I'll take up on my spare time because it's too stressful for me. I need to relax and not worry about being killed.
What do you think it means for women?
I think the gaming industry for women has changed in the last 5 years incredibly. Overwatch, I will get to you soon, I promise. Overwatch has a lot of fabulous female characters that aren't just cute and dumb and blonde, and they're not just sexualized. They are really strong, interesting, smart, cunning females. And I think I really love when I meet female gamers who have gotten into the game because of Overwatch, and likewise men who play the female characters because they say, Diva's so much more badass than some of the guy characters. So I do think that because there are female characters that women like to play, now there are more female gamers, and I think that it's just growing in general, and it's a really positive thing.
What's it like when you do get the chance to maybe catch an Overwatch League game, seeing how prevalent Sombra is in the game? How cool is that to see these pro players playing someone who you got the voice?
It's really magical. It's funny. Sombra wasn't being played last season as much. Now more so, and I was randomly in Colorado with some girlfriends, and they were trying to understand this Overwatch thing because they don't play, and they turned on the TV, and it was on. And they're like, wait, isn't this your thing? And I'm like, yes, it is! And then, oh my god, Sombra was on screen, and I was like, ah! So I was like, that's me. Okay, I just did my EMP. That's my electromagnetic pulse. Okay, now I just hacked somebody. but I was still having a really tough time following it because it was so fast. So to me, it's just this fascinating thing. But I also know that a lot of the pro gamers are Korean. So they probably play in Korean and not in English, so they're not even listening to me, which is totally fine. It's just this, I'm still just flabbergasted by it all. To me, I'm in awe of this new thing. I think it's great, and I'm humbled that they're playing my character, you know?
What's your opinion on fan communities? I mean, do you think that companies should be promoting their fan communities and giving access to them and things like that?
Yeah, if they're a positive fandom, absolutely. I mean, I think that Blizzard does a good job of keeping up with cool cosplayers and retweeting them or, you know, doing fun stuff for the fans. I think that the only reason we exist is because the fans like it. If Overwatch wasn't played or liked, then it would tank, you know? So I think that, of course, we love fandoms, and I want them to continue. I think I'm saddened by the cyberbullying or the hate that can happen sometimes in game. I wish people would take the game seriously, but not as seriously to start cursing everybody out while they're playing. I really think it should just be a fun game that you're enjoying. And if you are pro, then yeah, get into your level of pro, but you don't need to be rude about it. But yeah, of course. I mean, if the company can promote a fandom, absolutely. But I don't know enough about how that works. And like, there's such big companies, and I'm sure they have a lot on their plate. So I really don't know what it entails to, you know, foster a fandom. But as voice actors, we absolutely love all the fan art and meeting you guys and being able to share with the community online for sure.
If you were given the opportunity to give advice to an individual that was aspiring to be a voice actor, what would that advice be?
I think that the most important thing is to, first of all, definitely love it. I encourage people to take acting classes, even if they're not voice related, like voice specific classes. We use our voice as an instrument all day, every day. If you mess up your voice in one recording session, you can't continue to work. So understand that it's an instrument that you need to take care of and use properly. So take classes, you know, learn how to do networking in your local community and find local auditions. Those people will help you get work, hopefully. There's a lot of online ways to find auditions. So we are in this new world of technology, and you can get jobs that way. And we always recommend I am not speaking English. We recommend a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Literally, as simple as that, because it gives you tips on how to break into the industry. I've always lived in New York or LA, so I don't know what it's like in Atlanta, but, you know, find out how actors get it going here, and that's how you know, start building your own community. Or create your own work. Absolutely.
What's something that's important to you that you would like to share with more people?
Be kind. I think because we live in a digital age, people hide behind their screens a lot. And if you follow me, I hope it's because you like Sombra or what I do. So if you have a crappy comment on my personal Instagram, why are you on there? And I feel like we're constantly putting out positive stuff for the community. I would love to receive that back. Not that I've received a lot of hate. I'm just giving an example of like people hating and hiding behind their screen name because it's anonymous. And I think that we just need to practice kindness in the world with anybody we can, because it's a dark world out there, you know. I'd love to share more love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how have you been able to be a hero, an anti-hero, and a villain in your own life?
I think having a sense of humor helps to be an anti-hero because you don't take it so seriously. I don't think I'm a villain. I'd like to think I'm not. You know what? I think that I'm not a hero. Thank you. Sombra is all of those that you mentioned. But I think that us going to conventions and getting to meet people who've been moved by the game and listening to their stories and be able to give a meaningful hug and share our love with them and receive it. I think to me it's a really important interaction, and I take it very seriously, and I appreciate the love we receive and the fan art I get. I don't take any of that for granted. So I do think it's just a lovely way to share our love for something that we connect on. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cause my head's on this game's all about. I'm Sombra, you're going under. All's gonna make things go right. I won't stop shooting you, don't you know that I'm Sombra?
Are you the 1 in 3 at risk for kidney disease? Well, come find out on July 27th as the National Kidney Foundation of Louisiana presents Keeping Your Kidneys Healthy. This is a free health screening including urinalysis, a blood draw, and blood pressure check. The free screenings will take place on July 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the St. Peter Claver Catholic Church at 1923 St. Philip Street. For more information, please go to kidneyla.org for the Keeping Your Kidneys Healthy event, July 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at St. Peter Claver Church.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
The voice guy stole my line again. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you miss any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and Showcase Comics.
Sure.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my God!
Dun-na-na, dun-na-na. The key is not to be predictable, Brian.
No, that's fine. So what's funny is last night we were out at Whitey's Fishing Hole. It's a bar on the West Bank.
And
and we were having basically a Bad Wolf outing, right? Since Bad Wolf is in hiatus. And we're hanging out. They were doing karaoke, and there's this guy, Julio, this biker guy. And man, dude,
Julio.
This Filipino dude, he was really super cool, and man, he could belt it out, dude. The guy had pipes on him, and so I went and talked to him, and I'm like, hey man, do you use your voice professionally? And he's like, no, I run some karaoke, but I'm just, I just do this thing, and I'm like, well, you sound great, and I know because I'm a radio talk show host, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, really, what show? And I tell him, and he's like, oh my God, I'll listen to you.
No way.
Yeah. He was all like, dude, let's get a picture, and all that, and then we talked for a while, and he brought another guy over, introduced me, and
this is that radio guy.
Right, and we're talking, and it's like, well, how do you listen to the show? And I gave him the line, Spreaker.com, blah, 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 blah. And I did.
Your Mama's
and
House.
Your Mama's House, dude. They lost it. They lost it, man. It was good.
All right, what's first?
Are you going to play the liner?
I did.
Oh, okay.
We just started talking afterwards.
You're right.
I threw you, see?
You did.
I shook it up a bit, Brian.
All right, so first item on my list, July 1st in the year 1200.
In the year 1200.
Right. Sunglasses are invented in China.
What?
Yes. So
Is that because they invented fireworks too? So they invented something so you could look directly at the fireballs?
No. Actually, it's interesting. They were making them from flat planes of smoky quartz.
Jeez.
And no corrective vision, but protected your eyes from glare. And they believe there's some ancient documents that describe the use of the glasses by judges in ancient Chinese courts to conceal their facial expressions while questioning witnesses.
Wow. Well, if you follow me on Instagram, DLeagueD2,
right.
Did you see my son try to commit patricide with his little Roman candle sword?
Yeah. I saw
like neither of us realized it was a sparkler, but it also shot out a fireball at the very end. So he's fighting the imaginary monsters, then points it at me while I'm filming.
Nice.
Blew my ass off.
That's good stuff. All right, speaking of blowing things up, you got to guess this movie on July 2nd, 1996.
Oh, Independence Day. Is it?
Directed by Richard Emmerich. Starring Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonald.
No longer will this be an American holiday. This will be our Independence Day.
There you go. Randy Quaid, too, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie. And then it was followed up by Wild Wild West, and he could have been Neo, but then we saw the resurgence of one Keanu Reeves, so thank God for that stupid, ridiculous steampunk spider.
Yeah. Need a giant spider in the third act.
Oh, my God. That is the best Kevin Smith quote ever.
It is. Next item on my list, July 3rd, 1999. This guy, Billy Mitchell from Florida, is the
Florida man.
Yes.
Florida man.
He is the first person to achieve the maximum possible score in Pac-Man, which is 3,333,360 points in about 6 hours. Yeah.
Dang, 6 hours.
And I went and researched this just to verify, and the description that is in Ready Player One is accurate. You have to get it all the way to that last screen.
Okay.
And half the screen is garbled because the memory of the game can't handle it.
Wow.
And there's like 9 pellets that are hidden in this broken section.
Nice.
So you have to have the maximum lives, go and eat them 6 times and die every time after you've eaten them, and then you can, win the game with the most points. And then,
wow.
And then the game like shuts down because it can't handle it
That's
anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pac-Man fever.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. July 4th, 1054. A supernova is observed by the Chinese and the Arabs. Rock paintings later discovered in North America suggest that Indians in Arizona and New Mexico observed it as well. Dang. It remains bright enough to be seen during the day for 23 days and at night for almost 2 years.
Holy crap.
Scientists will later speculate that the Crab Nebula is the constellation Taurus is the remnant of this supernova.
Wow. And then they all won Pac-Man, right?
Yes.
No? Okay.
No. Now, this is kind of cool. This is along the same theme. Is July 6, 2003. Eupatoria Planetary Radar sends a METI message, Cosmic Call number 2, to 5 stars. The messages will arrive between 2036 and 2049. So a METI is a message to extraterrestrial intelligence.
Ah.
Yes, so we're still waiting for those.
Please tell me it said thanks for all the fish. Please.
Sure,
just lie to me.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, it has that.
Hey, did you get that email I sent you last week about NASA? They're building more booster rockets over there in Mishu right now, and they had a plant visit. I wasn't able to go, but we're going back to the moon, and I wanted to get the NASA people on there. So check your email.
I will work on that.
Pew, 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 pew. Okay, sorry.
All right, last item on
Space Force.
Yes, on my list is July 7th, 2009. Sees the premiere of Warehouse 13 on Syfy.
Ah, Eddie McClintock.
Yeah, it's described as part X-Files, part Raiders of the Lost Ark, and part Moonlighting. So
it was a fun show.
Yep.
I do miss it so.
All right, birthdays real quick. Dan Aykroyd on the 1st. Lindsay Lohan on the 2nd.
Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Kurtwood Smith.
She was in Herbie.
Yeah, she was.
The Love Bug.
Kurtwood Smith on the 3rd. Bill Watterson from wrote Calvin and Hobbes on the 5th. Yes. Sylvester Stallone on the 6th. And Jim Gaffigan on the 7th.
Nice. You know, John Mangus was in a movie with Sly.
He was. So I'm looking up real quick our guest for. Oh, there's a network error for my show sheet.
Oh
here.
my God, no!
Yeah, let's see. So who are we going to have on the show next week?
Dean Winchester. Sam Winchester.
I am trying to work on booking a prop maker.
Well, all right. Well, you're also going to Dragon Con here. What? A month from now?
It's going to be at the end of August.
Okay, so a month and a half.
Yeah.
2 months, whatever.
So I still got to get my room. If anybody has leads on a room, call me. We'll do lunch.
You're abusing your power, Brian.
Well.
I'm so proud of you. My boy's all grown up.
Yep.
All right, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM New Orleans anywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.